One of the most famous history in China is the Great Wall, and as the matter of fact, it is the greatest architecture, building, or whatever you call it, ever in human race. I saw a title of a video in YouTube, claiming that Panama Canal is the greatest civil engineering project in history. I wonder if the creator ever knew the Great Wall. I also wonder with its English naming of great, as its Chinese name is
万里长城,
or lexically, it is translated to the tens of thousand miles long wall. Indeed, comparing it to the gigantic constructions in the world, no even has a bit comparable in the length. Whereas great has no specific pointer, and even gives more connotation to big rather than long. It is so famous that you can find any information of it everywhere, of course including in the internet. However, I found out that most of people just like to watch jokes or read or hear hoax, rather than to search some facts or details. So, I present the Great Wall here but to limit on some common misunderstanding or confusion in the society. First, any of my Indonesian friends, and also some of my Chinese-spoken family, argued that the Great Wall was built by
秦始皇
220 BC to 206 BC. Some further claimed that their sources were credible, books written by Englishmen. Strictly speaking, it was not. To understand, rather than solely to know, the building of the Great Wall, we need to look back to Zhou Dynasty, 1064 BC to 256 BC, the longest dynasty in Chinese history. Zhou dynasty was also the only dynasty in Chinese history to employ feudalism, which means that the central authority of the dynasty distributed its territory to states, where each state was ruled by a feudatory, or warlord, or whatever you call him. There were more than 100 states recorded. The farther a state was from the dynasty's central authority, the smaller and weaker it was, and vice versa. Since 770 BC, the power and dignity of central authority of Zhou dynasty weakened. So during spring and autumn period, 771 BC to 476 BC, some strong states were ambitious to rule the whole China, and began attacking their respective neighboring states to expand their respective territories. The northernmost states, as the farthest states from the central authority, were the weakest. And to defend from the aggression from their southern stronger states was a life and death effort. There was another security problem on the northernmost states. They were bordering with the nomadic Berber tribes, who did not cultivate to live and thus had no steady living sources. So Berber tribes often looted those states. Attacking Berber tribes was targetless as they were nomad. Guarding the north border exhausted the military power which was very crucial needed to defend in south borders. Got attacked in the north was only a moment of chaos without the danger of the loss of the feudatory authority, compared to being demolished by the aggression from the south. Therefore, those states sent workers, instead of troops, to build walls, not walls of houses, but walls of the states, in the north border, on the ridges of mountains as possible, to protect outsiders from entering and robbing. In addition, some walls were also built by some weaker states to defend the invasion from other states. And the building of the Great Wall was then started as early as the 7th century BC, independently by each state, mostly of the northernmost ones. At this point of time, Qin was only one state on the westernmost region. After unifying China in 220 BC,
秦始皇
demolished the walls between ex-states, and joined the rest of those individual northern border walls together. Yes, he built it, but only partly, not even the starter. Now, please don't claim anymore any credible sources that told otherwise. Next issue. People often use the Great Wall to compare the shortness human life to that more than 2,000 years of
秦始皇
masterpiece. It's true and false. The Great Wall was originally built mostly using stone, stamped soil or gravel. Now only very few sections of it remain and most of them have been eroded away over centuries. many following dynasties, mostly
汉
202 BC to 220 AD,
北朝
439 to 581,
隋
581 to 618, and
明
1368 to 1644, continued the building and stretched the Great Wall, while
唐宋
dynasties, 618 to 1279, did not do a lot of effort in it. Outsiders colonizing China imitating building their defensive walls in much northern, currently Mongolia area, even though
元
dynasty, 1271 to 1368, did a bit repair for the purpose of export-import and immigration control gates. The tourism spots we visit now mostly were built by
Ming
dynasty, after defeated by Mongol tribes at north. The construction with about 25,000 watchtowers was stronger by using bricks, tiles, lime, and stone. Sections to protect Beijing, the capital, were the strongest. The wall successfully blocked Manchu force from crossing the borders, until, in 1644,
明
collapsed under
李自成
1606 to 1645, an A.
Ming
commanding general,
吴三桂
1612 to 1678, opened
山海
gate on May 25 for Manchu force to expel
李自成
from Beijing. The Manchus took Beijing in short, and eventually ruled over all of China under
Qing
dynasty, 1644 to 1912. As the wall was to separate the Manchus between China and their homeland,
Qing
did not put a bit effort at all on the Great Wall, except on the contrary that
Qing
built similar wall in Manchuria to prevent Chinese migrating there. Third, it was a common belief that the construction of the Great Wall was an extreme cruel treatment to the workers, so there were many deaths. And because the huge need of the construction material and the harsh sites, rather than burying the deaths properly, they were just piled into the wall. The very famous story of
孟姜女
crying over the Great Wall told that her cry collapsed that part of the wall to reveal her husband's remain. Now, there are many ruins of the wall, even some barely leave no trace. Also many renovation projects has been going on. And no any human part was found inside the wall. It proved that hoax already extensively spread in old time. My advice is, don't believe in hoax. Finally, many, including my father, said that the Great Wall was visible from the moon. In 1754, William Stukely, 1687 to 1765, wrote that the Great Wall might be discerned at the moon. In 1895, Henry Norman, 1858 to 1939, also supported that, and so by Ripley's Believe It or Not strip in 1932. As the matter of fact, cannot it be seen from the moon, but neither from low Earth orbit of 160 kilometers in altitude. It was confirmed by Edward T. Liu, born in 1963, Expedition 7 science officer aboard the International Space Station, and
杨利伟
born in 1965, a Chinese astronaut. The Great Wall was unknown to Westerners until Ibn Battuta, 14th century, wrote it in his travelogue. However, he never saw it, neither met someone who ever saw it. Bento de Gua, 1562 to 1607, entering China from India through the Great Wall in 1605, was supposed to be the first European seeing it. And it was designated as a World Heritage by UNESCO in December 1987. Now, outside of tourism spots, many locations are severely damaged. The stones were even taken to build houses and roads, while inscribed bricks were available on the market. Some points were demolished for construction and mining access ways. Just a brief information, the total length of the Great Wall, stretching from East in
辽东
to West in
罗布泊
County, and from north in Sino-Russian border to south in River,
好
is 21,196.18 kilometers, or 13,170.70 miles. And those are all for this video on the Great Wall. Thank you for watching.